Hello, everyone. This is Rick, and welcome to Astral Club. This episode, we're going to talk about astral travel scams. Before we get into it, just want to mention Patreon. We got two new supporters on Patreon, Manish and Melissa, and they're both astral masters. And I thank them and everyone else very much for supporting the channel, because when you do support the channel, you get advanced episodes on Sunday, a library of downloaded episodes for your podcast app, and a Patreon email where we can talk back and forth. And if you're interested, there'll be a link in the description. Next up, private lessons. If you'd like to learn to astral project, I'd be more than glad to work with you. If you're interested, there is an email in the description, and just request information and I'll send you what you need to take a look at. Okay, eBay. Now, I have worked with eBay off and on since 1999. I mean, when I started working with eBay, buying, I did mostly buying, a little bit of selling, but mostly buying. You had to send basically a postage check, a money order, and you had to send it in the mail to the vendor, and once they got it, they would then send you the product. That's how long ago I started with eBay. Now, there's plenty of good things on eBay. If you want to buy some astral projection books, you can find some deals there on some used books, some out-of-print astral books. So it can be a perfectly good place to acquire some books that you would like to read at a lesser price than Amazon. You just have to shop around a little bit and you can find some decent deals. Unfortunately, there's also other things listed on eBay that aren't quite as helpful as a good astral projection book, and that's what we're going to talk about, because I don't like the idea of people investing their hard-earned dollars in purchasing items that purport to help out astral projection, because my fear is that it'll be somebody who's new and who will have heard about astral projection, and then they run across something like this on eBay, they buy it, and they find out it's a big bust, and then they lose interest in astral projection. And that would be that's a crime as far as I'm concerned. Now, eBay has made a little bit of an attempt. They tend to make people now have some sort of disclaimer in their ad saying that yeah, this can do all kinds of cool stuff, can help you astral project to different planets and dimensions and yada, yada, yada. But eBay forces us to say this is just for entertainment purposes. Okay, so that's your disclaimer. I get it. Well, I'd like to talk about some of these items now, and this is your trigger warning. There's going to be some sarcastic humor, because that's the only way I can talk about this without getting angry. So we're gonna infuse. So if you have problems with sarcastic humor, if that causes upset, then you probably don't want to look at this episode. Let's get started. The first one up is, well, have you ever wanted to astral project and you just couldn't? You thought to yourself, gee, if only there was an astral travel air freshener. If only there was such a product, then I would be able to astral project. Well, you've been disappointed, but now there is such an item. And for $29.99, you can buy an astral ritual air freshener that can assist you in projecting. And that's not all, because this particular air freshener, and it comes in a little 10-ounce spray bottle, it can assist you purportedly with astral travel, psychic visions, lucid dreaming, third eye opening, and out-of-the-body experiences. It's the same thing as astral travel, people. Okay, whatever. Maybe they're just going for search terms. But this particular traveler, too, or astral travel air freshener, it comes in a sleek, bullet-shaped spray bottle and features natural citrus and sage fragrances. So if it's a matter of fresh astral air that's been holding you back, well, this particular item should be just the thing for it. Next up, we're going to get into some magical jewelry. For 90 US dollars plus $15 shipping for some reason, you'll get this astral portal bracelet with a series of black stones in it. I don't know if it's hematite or if it's some other sort of polished stone. It doesn't mention. But it does say that this bracelet is an astral link, and there's an astral projection spell on it because this is advertised under the Wiccan area. So with this enchanted piece of jewelry, you can cast an astral projection spell, and this allows you to have a protective shield while you're astral traveling. It protects your energy and provides a strong confidence while leaving your physical body. Keep in mind that a lot of these things have iffy English. So if I read it and it sounds like an awkward sentence, it's not my fault. It's just sometimes I like to read it the way they have it written. So perhaps these people should have invested less time creating magical jewelry and more time in their English class. But why cry over spilt milk? What's done is done. You'll be able to teleport anywhere, including one's dream, going inside people or other objects, and shape-shifting in the astral plane without any fears. So it's obviously written by somebody whose native language is not English. That's my guess here. Anyway, they enclose a special guide so you know how to work this particular piece of magical jewelry. This person evidently is a 7th generation witch with gypsy roots. And they've been using magic for many years. So this piece of enchanted jewelry may just be the thing that helps you to get over that astral projection hump that you've been having a problem with. Next, we have an astral projection spell powder. It's magical powder of some sort. And apparently it can induce not only astral projection, but also lucid dreams and all kinds of other cool stuff. And it's only $10 plus $3.50 shipping. So far, that tends to be the lowest price available. Now, the ingredients in this magical powder contain herbs, talc, spices, and glass and cork, which is, of course, what it comes in. They have a very long description for this particular powder, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. However, other than the ingredients I've already mentioned, they've got some spices in there, including cinnamon, and there's actually a warning for anybody who's allergic to cinnamon. But of course, they also mention you're not supposed to eat this, by the way. So I don't know. I guess they're aiming for the common denominator here, that on the low end of the IQ scale. So that's who they're trying to appeal to, I guess. In other words, this is magic, but don't eat it. Apparently, there's also roots and resins. After mixing, it's consecrated by praying over them in some sort of a ritual. And apparently what you do is you sprinkle it over an area, and then you use your spell, and the powder helps your intention to become much greater, to astral project. Once again, though, they caution, do not ingest, in case you didn't understand the first one. Use of this product is considered a curio, and no outcome is promised with its use. This is not a substitute for legal, medical, psychological advice, yada, yada, yada. That's the disclaimer, I guess, that YouTube asks for nowadays, which I suppose is something after all. Next up, we're getting a little bit deeper into the the money pile now. We have featured a haunted doll with a very active and very strong astral projection spirit. This thing is a little freaky. It's not so much a doll as it is a doll's face. And it looks like it might be like a mask of some sort, and it looks like it's on something, but I can't tell. It might be just this weird pear-shaped type of face with these very eyeliner-intensive eyes. Other than that, you got the dead eyes that tends to freak people out. And it's got some sort of a fancy old-fashioned hat. But apparently, a very powerful astral projection spirit decided that once it left its physical body, it couldn't think of a better place to go than this head doll with a funky hat. So what do we have here? Well, for the small price of $300, that you can meet this particular astral projection spirit, whose name is Orla. Apparently, this Orla was very good at astral projection, but she was also a very dynamic and very controversial type of figure. She acted and dressed and lived in her own way and defied conventions of the time. She had a few relationships in her life, but nothing serious. So this person really quizzed the spirit on its past life, getting into its difficulties with its past love life. So this Orla is very good with astral projection, but not very good at relationships. So I guess that might be why that when she passed, she couldn't think of anything better to do than to occupy some eerily painted wood and a beat-up felt old-fashioned hat. If you're interested, there's only one available. I mean, this is a one-of-a-kind item here. And for only $300 or your best offer, you get free shipping. And I guess at worst, for your money, you get an odd conversation piece that can either freak out or amuse your house guests. At any rate, I doubt anyone who's sleeping over at your place is going to want this thing staring at them all night when they're trying to get some sleep. Let's talk now about probably the creepiest thing that I found when I started examining eBay's wonderful magical inventory. This is the haunted Nosferatu Vampire Djinn Astral Projection Black Magic Wizard Crowley. It looks like they're trying to get every possible search term in that little description. We're also on the high end of the money scale here because they went $299.99 or your best offer. What this thing looks like, and I don't know if it's silver. You'd think for $300 it would be, but who knows? What you've got here is a type of pendant on what looks like a silver chain. It is attached to either side of a silver skull that looks like it's been cracked. It must have gotten in a fight. And below it, we've got a cat's eye type pendant surrounded by more silver accents and jewelry. The cat's eye, of course, looks a lot like the Eye of Sauron, if you remember from the Lord of the Rings movies. That's what you've got here. You've got this eerie piece of jewelry, which hopefully for that money is silver, but you know, I wouldn't bet the family farm on it being real silver. I mean, after all, for $300 you get magic, but you can't necessarily ask for quality jewelry. but it certainly is striking looking. You'll definitely impress your friends if your friends are odd, or freak out people walking by you. If that's what you're looking for, this might be the piece of jewelry for you. Apparently, it comes from the Devil Wizard's Abomination Chest Box, which is a heck of a name. Apparently, the demon wizard Crawley Nosferatu and a bunch of jinns helped to create this pendant, which allows you to open a blood portal. And you can access a variety of magics, including vampiric magic. But of course, the astral plane is really our goal here. And this particular piece of jewelry not only can open up that plane to you, but it also helps to fend off any, quote, hideous parasites that might want to, quote, steal your psychic energy, leaving you an empty vessel, cavernous black hole of revolting anti-pleasure. Okay, obviously somebody here fell into a dictionary and decided to write all of the words. But this pendant has coven bindings on it, which at the end of the day is very important, apparently. So there you go. These are some of the items on offer on eBay, and I hope they go unsold. If you want to be funny and buy the Astral fragrance for $10 for a laugh, fine. If that's your idea of a practical joke, maybe you give it to your friend who wants to astral project and go like, here you go. You know, and now if you're rich, maybe you can buy one of these $300 pendants with the Eye of Sauron on it, or the eerie, freaky doll that has a captive spirit within. But personally, I think you'd be better off, if you really want to invest some money, why don't you look at some of the used books on eBay? And perhaps there's some books there that are either out of print or that you can get in really good used condition rather than paying the Amazon price. But there you go. These are astral scams. Stay away from them. If you want to learn to astral project, you have to listen to the podcasts. You have to read the books and do the exercises. And that's the way you're going to project expensive, phony silver jewelry and eerie puppets. Aren't going to get you there. And I hope nobody buys this crap. Well, if you enjoyed that, please hit the like button, share it with those of like mind, subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, questions, comments. Have you seen any of this type of crap advertised? What do you think about this type of stuff being sold on eBay? I mean, I guess it's a free country. As long as they throw that in there about its entertainment, I guess it's probably legal. But is it ethical? Is it moral? That's my problem right there. But at any rate, this is Rick, and I will see you on the astral plane.